The following program is the work of broadcast students from the British Columbia Institute of Technology. BCIT magazine features news stories from around the Lower Mainland which were produced over the past week. Responsibility for the content of the show rests completely with the students and their instructors.
Highway of Tears killing. People around the world gather in celebration of rivers. And the BCIT investigate another animal cruelty case. Hello and welcome to BCIT Magazine. Today we're broadcasting from our great hall at BCIT. I'm Jung.
And I'm Ceilidh Millar. The RCMP revealed a deceased American prisoner is linked to the so-called Highway of Tears case. 66-year-old Bobby Jack Fowler's DNA was found on a BC teen. And as my co-anchor Jung discovered, this is a significant finding in a case that's gone cold for nearly 40 years.
He believed that the vast majority of women that he met in those places not only desired to be sexually assaulted, but desired to be violently sexually assaulted.
That's the insight into convicted sex offender Bobby Jack Fowler's mind, and now he's linked to one of the Highway of Tears victims.
Fowler is responsible for the murder of 16-year-old Colleen McMillan. On August 9th, 1974, Colleen left home with a plan to hitchhike to a friend's house nearby. She walked up to Highway 97 and disappeared.
Colleen was a lovely, sweet, innocent 16-year-old kid. And there are still no words in the world to express how terribly she was wronged.
Advances in technology has allowed IPANA, a special unit created to investigate these unsolved cases, to link Fowler to McMillan, and they believe he may have gotten away with more crimes.
He remains a person of interest in the remaining cases, such as 19-year-old Gail Ways and 19-year-old Kamloops resident Pamela Darlington.
The RCMP know Fowler worked in the Prince George area in 1974, the same year Colleen McMillan was murdered. Close by, Gail Ways and Pamela Darlington were also murdered. But he was convicted 21 years later for another crime against women, one in Newport, far removed from the northern BC killings.
It has been a long wait for answers, and although it is a somewhat unsatisfactory result, because this individual won't have to stand trial for what he did.
IPANA has confirmed that Fowler is not the only killer responsible for all the deaths along BC's northern highways. Initially, they thought the killings were the work of a serial killer, but now they've ruled that out. However, they say there could still be one in the mix. The RCMP are working with Oregon detectives to see if they can link Fowler to other crimes. Jung in Surrey for BCIT Magazine. The BCSBC is investigating another case of animal cruelty after shocking photos turned up on the website this week. As Lynn Johnson learned, investigators are trying to determine who the men are in the photos and if this crime took place in BC.
I think awareness and education. I mean, obviously this particular case of torture is pure evil.
That's how the BCSPCA feels about the most recent case of animal cruelty that's come to light.
We were forwarded a link to a website called The Dirty, in which images are shown on that site of some pretty graphic violence against a cat.
The photos appear on the Vancouver page of the U.S. website, but investigators are unsure of where they came from. They are too disturbing to show here in full. Many people call for tougher sentences in these animal cruelty cases.
I believe all living creatures on this planet deserve equal rights against cruel and unusual punishment. Animals don't have a say in this, and they need us to prevent it.
Animal cruelty should definitely be punishable by law, and more intense perpetrators should definitely go to jail.
In some cases, people who are cruel to animals turn out to be cruel to humans too. So for that purpose and that purpose alone, I think the sentences should be stiffened up considerably.
For Moriarty, animals like this need even more than tougher laws.
I appreciate people calling for increased sentencing. However, that could just be a piece of paper. What we need to see is, number one, funding for these investigations. If the government currently gives zero funding for animal cruelty.
Many readers of the website that published the disturbing photos were outraged. Some posts call for the men to be identified and jailed, while others even call for vigilante justice. Lynn Johnson in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
This is not the first time authorities have found photos or videos of animal abuse online. Joining us for more on the story is Lynn Johnson. Lynn, can you tell us about the role of social media in these cases?
The investigators that I spoke to described social media as a double-edged sword. On one hand, some people actually commit these horrible crimes just to post them online for the shock value and attention they get. On the other hand, social media has in many cases not only alerted them to this cruelty, but enabled them to identify these criminals and have them charged.
Thank you, Lynn. Hundreds of charges have already been laid in the Stanley Cup riot case, but possibly the most controversial and elusive alleged rioter has now been caught. Jonathan Mahoney, a resident of Newfoundland who was arrested in Saskatchewan, is alleged to have participated in the beating of Good Samaritan Robert McKay. Vancouver residents weighed in on his capture.
It's good, you know, he should be getting everything that they have thrown at him. That's perfect. Put him in jail, like that's good, get him off the streets.
And if it was the video that I saw, then it's good, he should be behind bars.
Like everyone thinks that like people in Vancouver are like just rioters, and like that's not the case obviously, and like people like that, it just starts with him. And
no matter what it would have started, somebody would have started it, but the fact that it's people from out of province who are coming here as guests, it's kind of ridiculous.
Mahoney was arrested after an exhaustive cross-country search. He's facing charges for participating in a riot, assault with a weapon, and mischief. World Rivers Days is one of the biggest environmental celebrations in the world. The event raises awareness on the importance of conserving our waterways. The initiative is celebrating 8 years of change, which all started right here at BCIT.
Originally known as BC Rivers Day, this event celebrates the many values of our rivers.
Mark Angelo is the founder of BC's River Day, an initiative created from his lifelong passion.
Well, I've had a love for rivers ever since I was a boy, and living here in British Columbia, I always thought we should have a day that celebrates our incredible river heritage.
32 years later, BC Rivers Day has become World Rivers Day and is celebrated by millions worldwide.
World Rivers Day has now become one of the planet's biggest environmental celebrations. And to think that it has its roots right here in British Columbia, in Canada, I think that's pretty special.
To kick off World Rivers Day, river advocates released these trout down BCIT's Guichon Creek. This stream, which was once a lifeless waterway, is slowly being restored by initiatives like Rivers Day.
I think it's important to note that the rest of the world is taking notice of what's happening at BCIT and its contribution to understanding and acting upon the global water crisis.
The younger generation is even doing their part to conserve waterways.
So it was kind of fun, and I felt proud that I was helping the environment in our world.
Here at BCIT's Guichon Creek, high school students like Tatiana are helping to restore the stream, one fish at a time. Are you ready? Yep. Kaylee Millar in Burnaby for BCIT Magazine. Coming up next on BCIT Magazine, a local game studio wants to fix the game creation industry in BC, and a cycling group uses social media to improve Vancouver's cycling options.
This is me. And my mom and dad, and my big brother Alex, and Jack. This is the day I learned that sandals got their name from sand. That jellyfish aren't made of jelly. That stars don't just come from the sky. That the ocean is bigger than all of us. This is the day we all got to forget I was sick. This was my wish.
Welcome back. G-Roy Simon may be the greatest receiver in CFL history, but 2012 has been a different kind of season for G-Roy. The statistics, he just wants to help his team win another Grey Cup.
Ever since he came to BC in 2001, the slot back known as Superman has always carried the Lions on his shoulders.
Coming to the CFL, my original goal was just to, receive for 1,000 yards and maybe try to get back to the NFL. Yeah, I never imagined that I'd be in the position that I'm in.
But it turned out that Simon could be more than just a star in the league. Over the years, he's become the gold standard for CFL receivers.
Big guns to the right side. Play action fake to Brown. Moonlay on a roll. Downfield, wide open. It's the record for G-Roy Simon. And Simon says he's the all-time CFL pass receiving leader.
And even though Simon has just one touchdown so far this year and his numbers have gone down, the motivation to keep playing and winning is all he needs.
People talk about stats and things, but it's not really about stats this year. It's all about wins. We're finding ways to win, and that's the most important thing.
Those close to the 13-year veteran say that no matter what Simon does on the field, his legacy will be what stands out the most.
He already is the best. I think he's a guy right now that just keeps compounding on his legend. He's already up there, regarded as the best of all time by many people. I think he'll have every record by the time it's all said and done.
Simon says this year's team has a great chance to repeat as Grey Cup champions, and with this being the 100th anniversary, he'd love to be along for the ride.
I like being a dominant player, and when I get the opportunity, I take advantage. And like I said, it's all about helping the team win, being a part of a winning team in different ways.
Superman may be getting older, but he won't hang up his cape just yet. He wants to prove that even at his age, he can still soar high above them all. Matt Lee in Surrey for BCIT Magazine.
Social Media Week is celebrated worldwide, and to kick off in Vancouver, they partnered up with Bike Hub, a local cycling group, to raise social media awareness. Art Mountlow was at the event.
This is still who we are. This is where we came from. 14
Cycling
years.
is a contentious issue in Vancouver, with social media used as a base for cyclists to voice their concerns. Bike Hub, a local cycling group, is aiming to take advantage of the medium.
I think that's part of why it's out there on social media so much. People are proud of being a cyclist, of being somebody on a bicycle. We're engaged with our community and with each other. We're able to talk to each other at a stop sign. We're able to discuss the bike route that we're on, the weather today. With complete strangers, we're able to do that and interact on a daily basis with the people out there. So I think that really helps bring us together.
More people are getting interested in cycling, but there are still ways for the city to improve the experience.
I think just building more of an infrastructure and a knowledge tool or a way to educate folks in Vancouver on bike safety.
Educating people about bike usage is Bike Hub's main focus on social media. In their presentation, they used this graphic displaying the difference in space taken up by vehicles and bicycles. Switching to more environmentally friendly solutions is a move more businesses could partake in.
We've always been a bike-friendly business, so there's always bikes available for our staff members to use for free. And we always welcome cyclists bringing their bikes in here as well. We had the City of Vancouver install a bike rack outside also, so we want all modes of transportation to be available for people, whatever is easiest for them. Designated bike lanes have helped a ton. When I got back to biking, I wasn't so comfortable on the roads as first, and those designated bike lanes are just so comforting.
Using social media, the Bike Hub will continue to amass more followers as they continue to work towards building a more bike-friendly city. Matthew Lowe in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
We now go live to our reporter Matt Lowe, who has more information on the story. Matt, are there any courses available for beginner cyclists?
Well, Bike Hub does offer a couple of courses tailored to cycling in the city, specifically their streetwise cycling course. Now, if you're not as comfortable of a biker on the streets of Vancouver, a course like that would be perfect for you.
Matt, where can interested cyclists join this online community?
Bike Hub is on the main social media platforms. You can find them on Facebook by searching We Are Hub, one word, or by following them on Twitter at We Are Hub. Back to you, Angela.
Thank you, Matt. Market this week, and our reporter Matt Lowe was lucky enough to experience what this popular event has to offer. With food, crafts, and music, this is an event that shouldn't be missed.
Here in BCIT's Campus Square, farmers and artisans meet for an annual market that attracts staff and students alike. It's an event that garners a lot of attention.
I've heard nothing but positive feedback with regards to what we have for sale or what's available here at BCIT at the farmers market. It has a variety of items available. There's crafts, there's baked goods, jams, all vendors that are from the Lower Mainland.
Amongst the music, people wander about sampling various meats and pastries while vendors sell their wares. It's a very welcoming experience for everyone.
It's just a nice community event, and it brings me back to university days. We sell homemade cookies, homemade s'mores, homemade donuts, caramel, crackers, candy corn cookies, shortbread, muffins, cheese biscuits. We sell a big variety of things.
The biggest draw at the market, especially for students, has to be the produce, which, sold at a low price, is a great option for those on a budget. Well, BCIT's Farmers Market sure was a blast, so if you were looking to get more information, you can check them out online at www.bcit.ca/hr/wellness/market.shtml. I'm Matthew Lowe in Burnaby for BCIT Magazine.
Events happening here at BCIT, and joining us now is Ian Morton, who is the events manager for BCIT Student Association. So for students who want to drop everything, forget about their homework, what kind of events can they expect in the upcoming months at BCIT?
We've got a pretty good variety. We have Oktoberfest happening at the end of this week in Professor Muggs, lots of crazy games, just good relaxation. We have 2 hot dog eating contests coming up, which is crazy fun. We have the SA 5K charity run in October, just after Thanksgiving, to run off your turkey. That's very exciting. And we've also got something really exciting happening in mid-November. It's all on our Facebook page called World Showcase Showdown. We're pretty excited about. It's kind of an international student multicultural event with a talent show in the pub.
Those all sound like a lot of fun. And if there's one event that students have to come out to, what would you recommend?
Well, I think the SA 5K on October the 10th is probably it. We've never tried a charity run on this campus before, so hopefully hundreds of people will show up and run around the campus in good weather. Rain would be fun too. But we're raising money for the Student Emergency Food Fund, so that's a good cause, and there's prizes like for best costume and lots of participation prizes as well too.
And why is it important for students to be involved in campus life?
I've been here 6 years now, and I think the best answer for that is stress relief. It's just such an intense course load, unlike any other post-secondary I've ever worked at. So we also do an event called Zen Lounge, which we're doing in November this year, which is all free massage therapy and to help students.
Ian, all those events sound so great, and thank you so much for coming here today. Coming up next on BCIT Magazine, a local group transforms a parking lot into a micro farm, and how global bacon shortages will affect Canadians.
They say if you want a wish to come true, never tell anyone. But there is one wish that can make the difference between life and death. And this wish can only come true if you tell someone. Please, let your family know you want to be an organ donor.
Standby graphics, ready, camera one.
If you want to experience the fast-paced world of news,
Today on BCIT Magazine, striking,
make magic on a movie set,
frame,
and action,
or bring your creative ideas to life, BCIT's hands-on training will get you started. BCIT Television and Video Production.
Your possibilities start here.
Hi, I'm Nigel Haynes, and this is your community calendar. Starting off with an evening of improvised theater, in Blind Dates you'll follow Mimi, a Parisian temptress, as she goes on a different day with a different audience member every night. The play runs from Tuesday, September 18th to Sunday, October 7th at the Vancouver East Cultural Centre. As part of Burnaby's 120th birthday celebration, the Burnaby Village Museum is opening its gates for free. There'll be vintage and modern vehicles available for all ages, crafts for children, and transit buses available from the Transit Museum Society. The event runs from September 29th to 30th from 11 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And BCIT's 8th Annual World Rivers Day is this week, happening September 30th at Guishon Creek. Events include a fish release and river cleanup. And that's been your community calendar. I'm Nigel Haynes. Thank you for watching.
Vancouver's talented video game industry has taken a hit in the last few years, with many studios closing down in order to save money. However, as our reporter Matt Lowe found out, one local studio head has some ideas to re-energize the industry.
We're seeing this industry start to kind of rot out through the bottom, a big drain of talent, and that has a really chilling effect on people's prospects here in the city, as well as our prospects as an industry. If we can't keep good people, if we can't do good projects, then where will we be in 5 more years?
The industry Toner is referring to is Vancouver's video game industry, and it hasn't been kind to those looking for work.
I left Vancouver. The industry here was booming, and I was expecting to just come back and get a job no problem. But I came back here last Christmas, and it's a problem. I'm hoping by New Year's I just have a job of any kind, even if it's fetching coffee or just something really trivial. But for the industry in Vancouver, I would like for the headlines to stop saying another studio closes down, or more bad news for the game industry in Vancouver.
In 2005, Vancouver had 9 major game studios. Since then, 4 have closed, and 3 have laid off workers but remain open, with Nintendo and Electronic Arts unchanged. Toner says we could mimic a plan set by Guadalajara, Mexico.
Tells how you get schools connected with small companies, with mentors from big companies, how the anchor companies interact with urban development. It's all figured out. So they've got a game plan, we don't. So why don't we have a game plan here in Vancouver? Surely it can't be that hard to put together. If we care about this stuff, we want to think about these things collectively.
With better planning, Toner says Vancouver could re-emerge as a big name in the gaming industry. Matthew Lowe in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
In the midst of traffic and a whole lot of noise, a former parking lot has been transformed into an oasis of sustainability. Flowers and food are now produced in what was once a lifeless stretch of concrete. As Lynn Johnson found out, the site benefits the entire community.
This is what most people see on this busy street in Strathcona, but Sophie Agbonkese had a better idea.
Last spring, we developed a commercial composting and recycling collection program for our businesses. And we needed a place where we could store the things that we collected and hopefully also process some of the food waste.
As well as collecting plastics and other recyclables, the site processes food waste in several composting stations. The micro-farm grows many kinds of vegetables and herbs, which all go to good use.
The food that's being grown here will be used in area restaurants and community kitchens, and hopefully will go to feeding some of the people in the downtown east side as well.
There are other benefits for the community as well.
It also helps the community because we're creating jobs by hiring people to collect the waste, hiring people to bring it to the site and sort it and manage it, and also working here in the garden.
Brian Postlethwaite helps people from the downtown east side find jobs. Some of those jobs are now with the recycling center.
Many people who are disabled or recovering from addictions or have found stabilized mental health after treatment are looking for employment opportunities. This project, the Strathcona Resource Park project, provides opportunities for people to transition back to employment.
Sophie hopes this site will encourage other communities to create sustainable business practices and help out their neighbors. Lynn Johnson in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
The cost of corn has seen a large spike in demand in the past few years. Corn is used as feed for pigs, and that has driven the global pig population into a drastic decline. This is leading to a global shortage of bacon. Our reporter Brandon Spiker found out why this issue will hit consumers sooner than they think.
Imagine waking up to a world with toast, eggs, and no bacon. Britain's National Pig Association says there will be an unavoidable global shortage of bacon within the next year, and consumers can expect to pay more. The association says there are fewer pigs today, and that number will decrease in future years. But Jerry Gilderman of Gilderman Farms is keeping positive and thinks his operation shouldn't decrease.
We're still the same size as we were last week and the week before. So we will, if we stay in this, we will be producing the same ourselves.
Corn costs are forcing farmers to limit supply. As the price of corn increases, farmers do not get a break and are required to pay the full market price, making pigs an expensive product to produce.
The grain costs, because of the drought in the U.S., which is what they're using as our feed grains, have since 2010 have gone up just about double from what we were paying then, and that cost gets borne by the pigs.
Then there's the consumer. Every little increase gets passed on to you, and some people are having mixed feelings about their favorite breakfast food.
One of the reasons I don't purchase it right now is because it is really expensive.
It's been rising for years, so we're just going to have to adjust accordingly.
So with everything from the rising food costs to the declining pig population, this will definitely have an impact on bacon prices. Economists predict that within the next year, bacon prices will jump up to 10% from their current price, jeopardizing this iconic bacon and eggs meal around the world. For BCIT Magazine, I'm Brandon Spiker.
Ever wanted to see a genius up close? Well, it doesn't get any closer than a new iPad app that lets you explore cross-sections of Albert Einstein's brain. The app was created using hundreds of real photos of the brain during his autopsy in 1955. If you have any questions or comments regarding this program, please visit us online at bcit-broadcast.com or bcitbroadcastnews.ca. I'm Angela Jung.
And I'm Ceilidh Millar, and that's it for today's BCIT Magazine. Thanks for watching. We leave you now with a look at Gishon Creek.